Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be discussing implicit rules. These are rules that are built in to Make so that you can actually compile a small scale C or C++ project without writing a makefile at all, or with a very minimal makefile. And what these rules are rules that figure out the basic dependencies and the basic recipes that you need to be able to compile and link a file. So we have one example here under implicit rules where we try to build this target Africa. We've listed it out. We say that we want to build all. This is the default rule. All depends on Africa. Africa depends on Africa.o, and the .o depends on the .c. Now, I don't have a .c file here, and so we've given a recipe as well, or a pattern rule, to create a .c file. And what that does is it just makes a simple hello world application in C. Now notice I have a recipe to create the .c file, so this is a complete rule. But up here, I've just listed the dependency relationship. I don't actually have any recipes. So is this going to work? And the answer is yes. I mean, it would work if I had the recipes listed somewhere else in the makefile, but I'll scroll down and you can see that I only have one more line. So even so, it is still going to work. It's still going to compile. And the way it does that is that it uses a built-in rule. The general format for a C rule is %.o depends on %.c. And the line to compile this is CC, which is the C compiler, and then CPP flags for C preprocessor flags, and then C flags, and finally -C to compile, and the arguments that you're giving to it. To change the .o file into an executable, you need to link this, and you use the same C compiler to link. You pass in the same flags along with the linker flags and the libraries that you want to link with, and this is going to link your project. So if I run this makefile over here and I want to build Africa, we see this rule running, creating Africa, africa.c, and then we see these two things, which are the implicit rules. The first one compiles Africa, africa.o, africa.c into africa.o, and then finally we link that to create the Africa executable, and we can run that. And we see all three files over here. So these are implicit rules. There are similar rules for C++ projects, and you can see that in the link down here. Now, we also have one step beyond this. Up here, I listed out these two dependencies, these two relationships, but you don't even need to do that. Really, what you can do is you can just say, I want to build Asia, and Make will automatically see that, hey, any application depends on a .o version, if this can be created. If it can't be created, then it's not going to run this rule at all, but if this is applicable, then it's going to apply this. And in this case, when it's trying to build Asia, it's going to look in the current directory and say, hey, there is no Asia.o. So this rule may not apply. But then it says, wait, I might be able to build the .o. Do I have a rule for that? And then it says, yes, I do have a rule that says I can build a .o from a .c. And then it looks to see, do I have a file asia.c? And it says no. And then it says, all right, maybe I can build the asia.c file, in which case it sees this rule up here and says, okay, I know how to build asia.c. And so it builds a chain of relationships, a chain of dependencies that says to build Asia, I can build asia.o, which needs asia.c, which I have a rule for. And so it accepts this as one possibility. And if you have your own relationships, if you have your own rules for these, it's going to prefer your own rules. But if you don't have anything explicitly mentioned, it's going to follow this implicit order or this implicit rule chain, and it's going to build them using those rules. So we can build that, and let's run Asia, and we see it creates Asia.c, it compiled it into Asia.o and then it linked it into Asia. And we can run that quickly and we see hello world from Asia. Now, something that's interesting is that it actually deletes the files asia.c and asia.o because they were never explicitly mentioned. Make assumes that you're going to care maybe about the disk space or something. And it says that since you never explicitly wanted these, I'm going to treat them as intermediate files and I'm going to delete them when I'm done with them and when I don't need them anymore. That didn't happen up here because we explicitly mentioned these file names, but down here they're all implicit, so we can just erase them. That's all for this video. These implicit rules, they're useful to have, but only really useful for smaller projects. If you're doing something bigger, you might want to disable them, and there is a flag to do that with -- no built-in rules. But this is worth knowing about, and if you're debugging something that works and you expect it not to work, or it doesn't work and you expect it to work, this might be why. So thanks again, and hope to see you next time.